Alright, so this is an intro to the video that you're about to see after this to give you an idea of the timeline. The last video I posted was of me and Mark, who has the Livewire YouTube channel, finding and casting a track on his property. So this video you're about to see was shot while we were waiting on the plaster to dry on that cast. So what you're about to see is an interview. Mark and his son had a sighting of a very large Sasquatch crossing a power line on the property on their place. So what we did is poured the plaster in the cast, and while it was drying we went off and went down there, and I gave him the opportunity to recount the sighting that he and his son had on location there, and I thought it turned out pretty good. The only thing, the video you'll have to excuse because the sun was beginning to go down in the west and the camera was pointing to the west, so it does appear a little darker than I would like, and the audio is not perfect, but you know, it's not bad. So anyway, this just to give you an idea, this was shot on the same day while the cast was drying, the plaster was drying for the cast, and this is Mark recounting the sighting that he and his son had on that power line. I hope you find it interesting, and till next time. All right, well, we're standing on this power line here where Mark and his son saw Sasquatch, however you want to pronounce it, walk across the power line up there. I'm gonna let Mark tell us about it.
Well, my son and I was out here just walking down the power line. I wasn't really looking for Sasquatch or anything like that. And he was, my son, you know, he's young, got a young people eyesight. He noticed up there is the second post set up there where it come out of the woods from on the right hand side and started crossing the power line trail. He said, Dad, look. By the time I saw it, it had reached the second pole, crossing over the power line. And it was so, I know it seems like a very long ways away, and by my rangefinder it's 246 yards. But this was by far the largest one that I've ever seen. And it was a daytime sighting around 6 p.m. It was so large that I could see it from here. And I've got piss poor eyesight. But it had to be at least 10 foot tall.
Was it at the top of that hill over
Top of the hill at the second set.
It was on the other side of the fence there.
Yes, on the other side of the fence. And what was strange about that was some other stuff that occurred that same day. I called David immediately as soon as we saw it and was talking to David about it. And I reported to the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization, their website that they keep track of sightings. And I reported the sighting there also. But I went up there and my son took a picture from here of me up there where we saw the Sasquatch cross. Large difference between my size and him. But as I was coming back, my son called me on my cell phone. He said, Dad, there's something following you. It's coming in and out of the woods. As I was coming this way towards that gate you see, he said there was something coming in and out of the woods that was following me as I was headed back this way. He called me on my phone. And I turned around, and he said, Dad, when you went to turn around, it went back into the woods. And he said it was on all fours. But, you know, so far away, he couldn't identify what it was, but he knew there was something definitely following me back towards that gate. He said once I went through the gate, that it stopped over there at the fence line at the gate. But then whenever he called me and I turned around, it went back into the woods. And
which side did it go into the woods?
It came from the right hand side and crossed over into the left. And he said it was coming in and out of the left hand side of the woods, entered in and out of the woods as I was walking this way. And he said it was on all fours. But he said once I went through the gate that it stopped at that fence. But when he called me on my phone, I turned around. He said when I went to turn around, it went back into the woods. I never heard or saw it. And that's what he was telling me. But
now what color was it, you say?
Was that?
What color was this?
It was brown. All the ones that I've seen previous have been black, except for the mother with the white face. But all the adult males that I've seen, and even the juveniles, have always been jet black. This was the first one I've seen that was a brownish color. And he was also the largest one I've ever seen. You know, I've only caught like 6 on video and pictures and game cameras and stuff. But he was by far the largest. He was massive.
Okay, you just checked how the distance with your rangefinder. How far up there is that?
246 yards.
246 yards.
I mean, it's a good distance away, but he was so big you could see him still from here. He was massive. He was absolutely massive.
Yeah, and I know I've said this, I've been beating myself up about it since, but we actually shot a video of this a couple of weeks ago, and like I said, I left the microphone off, so I've been double checking that I got the microphone going this time. While we're doing this, we've got a track that we've cast over there behind his parents' house where he's been hearing these creatures coming up. How long ago was that?
The last week and a half, there's been a lot of activity in the woods. And I can hear them walking in the woods on my cameras. The cameras that I have, they might appear to be low resolution because of the internet that I have, but as far as the microphones, they're very sensitive. And I can hear better with the microphones than if I was sitting outside myself with, just listening. And the last week and a half, there's been a lot of activity out in the woods. I did an interview for a podcast with Troy Hudson of the Native Oklahoma Bigfoot Research Organization, and I was part of that. And we shot that close to dark, and man, I tell you, that evening there was so much activity. It was ridiculous. I've got other people that watch my camera systems over the internet, and even they commented that there was a lot of activity that night. Lots of footfall, lots of noises out in the woods, and that's where when David come out today, I've been waiting on him to come so we could go out in the woods and look around in the areas that I've been hearing activity and movement to look for tracks close to the house.
Yeah, I've had a good conversation. I'd never met Troy before, but I talked to him on the phone last weekend and had a good conversation with him about it, because he's one of the other fellows that's been out here before.
Yeah, you and him are the only two researchers that I've ever allowed to come out here before. It's just that I don't, people that come out and knock on trees and hoot and holler for them and trying to draw them in, I really don't allow that stuff out here, because you really don't know what you're doing and what that really means to them. For all I know, you're challenging an alpha male to a showdown.
Maybe tell them they're ugly or something.
Yeah, then you get in your truck and leave me to deal with the...
Well, here's the way I look at that. Pretty much all just about of the sightings that you hear about, it's pretty much accidental, people going about their business and just happen to see one. I don't know of much where people have been out beating on trees and making monkey noises where they actually see one. Well, and I'm not saying they haven't, but the vast majority of sightings is like what you are, going about your business and you happen to be in the same area that they are. So that's the approach that I.
Well, they definitely frequent this area, and every few days it seems. There's no need to try to draw them in, because I promise you they know we're here already.
Yeah, and I think you're at a crossroads. I mean, I don't believe they stay in these woods here.
I don't think so.
Large animal of any kind stays in one place, there's going to be a lot of evidence. The evidence we find is of tracks going through and going up behind him and his folks' houses there, just like the sounds point to. Like I say, we've got a track, and I will measure it when I get the cast out of the ground, and I'm thinking it's going to be about 14-15 inches long. And to find them in the leaf litter like that, you got to gently lift the leaves out of it to see if that's what it is under it. It's a pretty good try. I think it's going to be a good cast. So anyway, we're going to make our way back to that. I just wanted Mark to be able, I like to give a report on site when I have the chance. A lot of them that I put on my site are old ones that I've collected in the past. I think, they're still interesting for sure. But these fresh ones like this is an ongoing area of activity. So I think it's important to, get them out there when they're fresh. And that's about as fresh as they can get.
Yeah, this was just a couple of weeks ago whenever he was up here staying for a week.